Hey, you, get your damn hands off her. Hey, diddly-o, neighborinos.
Hello, the internet. This is another review from Unprofessional Movie Reviews, and we'll be reviewing Batman v Superman: Dawn o' Justice. It's the full title. Okay, let me tell you a teeny little synopsis about Dawn of Justice. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Mouthful. That's also there you go. There was a synopsis. No. Okay. This is a sequel, follow up to Man of Steel. As you might not know, I don't like Man of Steel at all. Have you? Yeah.
I didn't bother to watch it.
Oh, there you go. And okay, so 18 months later, Batman and Superman kind of don't see eye to eye on things, and then they scuffle. And there's bad guys at foot. That's it. I can't think of it.
Is that Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
That's part of the
synopsis. Are those other Justice League people? Maybe. Who knows? Also, starring in this, you got Henry Cavill as Superman. You got Ben Affleck, who I actually like. So I just like saying Affleck too, though. At odds with
he is
each
an
other.
ass man.
Yeah, he is. He is an ass man. Very uncomfortable place. As Batman, and then you have
Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Yeah, really good.
Lawrence Fishburne as the editor of the Daily Bugle.
Yep, and you have Mark Zuckerberg reprising his, what's his name? Jesse Eisenberg reprising his role as Mark Zuckerberg. He's reprising his role as Mark Zuckerberg with a alias as Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
yep.
Pretty much.
So this is actually a sequel to Social Network, if you didn't know that.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Tie-in. Man of Steel, Social Network.
Yeah, no. Batman v Superman. Okay, so enough jibber-jabbering. As Mark, this is Billy. Welcome to Unprofessional Movie Reviews. Click like, subscribe, and do all that internet stuff. Follow us on the social medias. And that's it. The way this works is we're going to tell you, we already gave you our synopsis, as shitty as it was. Deal with it. And tell you our positives of this movie, how we felt about this movie, which I actually have quite a few. And then negatives, which I have quite a few more of this movie. And then we're going to give you a tailorized review between 0 and 10. Billy, take it away!
My biggest positive for this movie is the atmosphere that Ben Affleck provides as Batman and Bruce Wayne. I just kept having flashbacks to Batman the New Animated Series.
The best Batman stuff ever.
When I was
the 90s animated.
I was a huge fan when I was a kid, and I was watching the movie and I kept feeling like something feels really weird about Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, and I just kept thinking about it, and I was like, he's literally like the physical embodiment of the animated version of Batman.
Yes, and that is the best positive.
That's high praise.
Yeah, that's the best positive I've ever seen. Billy turns to me in the middle of us watching this and he goes, "Does this remind you of the animated Batman?" And I was like, "Whoa!"
It totally does.
Kind of does, but at the same time, that is the nicest thing I ever thought. Because we're going back and forth like, "Well, that was garbage," and this time he's like, "Animated Batman, bam!" And yeah,
definitely.
I think he's definitely my positive.
They were trying to carry over the Nolanverse like darkness and stuff, and like the really gritty Batman. But all I was getting from it was animated Batman, which I'm perfectly fine with.
I'm great with.
I thought that was great. So, biggest positive in this whole thing is Batfleck.
Biggest positive through this whole thing is Batfleck. I really, really like Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah.
And I do not want these Justice League movies even to come out if they're going to keep being made in this style, and I want Ben Affleck to take over the Batman, which is what they're going to call, and then make these Batman movies, because with just his performance as Batman, if you give him the camera and you take it away from Zack Snyder, I have a lot of high hopes for this DC universe, which is something I never thought I'd say.
Right.
It's the shining light to this DC universe is Batman.
They just need to stop shying away from the cartoony side, and I'm not saying like make it silly. I'm saying
you have to decide.
And if they don't shy away from the atmosphere that is created with this new version of Bruce Wayne, and the new way that he does things, the new way he reacts to people, the new way he thinks about things, the new way he makes decisions. It's very much inspired by the animated series, and I think that's what would distinguish DC from Marvel in film coming up, because I would say that Nolan nailed the gritty superhero movie.
Yeah, it's nailed.
Absolutely.
This is some of the best superhero movies, or best movies I've seen
Sure,
in a long time.
Sure. And I think that ship has sailed. You can't do that anymore. You have to do something new. Yeah. And I'm not saying you have to go like zany, like
you don't have to go the old Batman movies, Batman Robin.
Right.
You don't have to sell toys.
But it's the atmosphere that counts. You can use really intuitive new cinematography like they did in this movie. That's another big positive. The cinematography for this movie is great.
Beautiful movie.
You don't have to sacrifice that. It's more about the feel of the characters, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they make decisions. They don't need to be spelled out for us, which I'll get into later. But the decisions they make can be larger. They can be quicker. And that's probably something you're going to bring up in your negatives. But those are cartoon. They're summarized. And I like that.
Wow. Jeez. I never know. It was like the best rant I've ever seen you go on. So you like Ben Affleck as Batman?
I do a lot, and the cinematography was good.
And the cinematography was beautiful. But I'm going to be talking about the film's directing and editing coming up. Yeah. But, a lot. But this still is Zack Snyder. This still is some of the best looking action I've ever seen. Right. And some of the best looking shots. There's, I'm not going to say where it happens, but at some point you have to see the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne like every single Batman movie. And as much as I disliked a couple aspects of it, the shot, like the guns just firing back, like the way, breaking the pearl necklace, those are some beautiful shots. And as much as I wanted to hate on it, he does take small liberties, but really does stylize up the world for his visual aspects. And it's good. These are really good things. This is why Zack Snyder should be directing these kind of things. And so the visuals are really good, and that's next to Batfleck. Right. It's my biggest positive, and I'm glad you brought it up already. Also, I don't mind Henry Cavill as Superman. I think he is not the best written Superman, but that is not his fault. I actually do. I think if we are eventually going to get that good Superman movie that I've never gotten, because I'm not a big fan of Man of Steel, I want it to be Henry Cavill. I totally do. And I don't mind him at all. And that's about the most I could say. Oh, Jeremy Irons is a beacon of hope. Another one. I really like Jeremy Irons. Again, I feel like him and Affleck were like shielded from some of the bad writing. I don't know how that happened, but their scenes of banter back and forth, I really enjoyed.
The very directness of Alfred, though, the way he's directly involved.
He's like a partner of Batman. That is another new thing.
They like combine Lucius Fox into him.
And a little bit of Robin.
Yeah. And like, I'm not a Batman comic reader. Yeah. That's why he's here. And that's why I'm here. Yeah. So, I don't know Alfred's backstory, but one thing that I thought was really odd, and I mean, I suppose I should have some negatives, but you brought it up, so...
Yeah, no, go ahead.
But at one point he's piloting the what's it called, the Batwing?
Yeah, the Batwing.
He's piloting it remotely.
Yeah.
Is he a pilot? I didn't know that.
The thing is, actually, Alfred's a giant badass. He, in the comics, he used to work for MI6. He's like a former fucking, like, James Bondy type. Now, is it your fault you didn't know that? No, because they should have backed up. They're giving us these really badass, this is the negative, and we're not even in our negatives yet, but they were giving us this really badass Alfred that I really love, badass Alfred that I really like, and I'm glad they're doing it, but they should have explained it a little bit, and they should have, sold it better. I'm trying to think of more positives other than Batman.
The soundtrack was beautiful. Good soundtrack.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer, right?
I thought it was Eric Whitacre. He had a lot to do with it anyway.
I'm on it.
I know that a lot of the tracks were Eric Whitacre and the Eric Whitacre Singers, which is a big choir.
Oh, okay.
I just saw a thing about it on Facebook today.
Oh, for some reason, I really thought it was Hans Zimmer, but I might be off. But anyways, I don't want to just be sitting here on my phone.
All other positives.
World building, as much as I really hate to say it, I'm okay with this world we're in. It kind of makes me feel funny a little bit, but I'm okay with movies. I got one. I liked Wonder Woman. I'm not a big fan of Gal Gadot, and I'll get to that, or Gal Gadot, but the way they set her up and did things with, I was fine with. I think she actually kind of did pretty well.
It seemed hollow to me. Like, hey, let's just bring Wonder Woman in, cuz.
Yeah, I'm not going to go ahead and tell you no. I guess I had the lowest possible expectations for Gal Gadot, and they weren't met. She actually
she was
got
fine.
higher.
She was fine.
I guess I just was thinking it was going to be worse, and that's why I was like, hey, I didn't hate it. Positive. No, I guess it's more of a middle of a road. Yeah, Wonder Woman is the middle of the road. Good job. Did better than I thought you would. Or you just keep changing your score? Or you just
I'm adding notes.
Oh, cool.
Because I don't want to forget stuff.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I'm tired of this. Let's get into the reason we're here. Negatives. Editing. Oh my God, it's a
mess.
It's a poorly edited movie. They were like, "This is gonna be a 2.5-hour movie," and I'm like, "That's really long." And they're like, "But we want to release a 3-hour rated R movie on the DVDs." And I'm like, that seems overdone and pretentious and shitty. And now I'm like, yeah, I bet the 3-hour version's gonna be better because this looks like it's chopped to shit. A 3.5-hour or 2.5-hour movie chopped to shit.
See, the problem that I had, and it goes with the editing, but it's also in the special effects and the combat.
Oh,
because
yeah, totally.
The entire final third of the movie is just a big jumble. I could barely tell what was going on the entire time. I mean, I get it. It's destructive. Shouldn't the casualty ratings have been a lot higher?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody cares. Clark Kent died and Superman died, and we'll hold a candlelight vigil for them, but so many more people should have and probably died, and we don't know anything about it because they don't really mention it.
Is that not a major...
No!
Okay.
It's not. We know Doomsday's going to be there. It's in the fucking trailer.
Okay, all right. The other thing we didn't know was going to happen, and that's a giant negative, the fact it did. But here, again, adding up your negative... There is a huge... The ending of Man of Steel, a lot of people had a lot of problems with, including me, with all the destruction, all the people dying, all the casualty. And then they make a pretty big deal at the beginning of this movie, like, Superman needs to be held accountable for all this killing, all this stuff. It's a big deal. We can't have all this high casualty. Fast forward an hour later, bam, 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 buildings blowing up again, and no one's like, hey, we had a talk with you, Superman. Die down the fucking casualties a little. Again, it's just like, whatever. Like, we thought they learned from their mistakes and then went right back into just everything blowing up.
And what's the deal with murderous Batman who doesn't care about taking lethal shots?
Yeah, as much as I like this Batman, I think that is a giant, giant problem. I'm not going to be like, no, they did it in the comics. Actually, they don't. They do it in the comics when you're in a weird universe where Batman's supposed to be evil. Those are the only time Batman really kills. Right. Or when Frank Miller's on the helm, but we're not gonna judge Batman on Frank Miller's weird adaptations of Batman. But yeah, him killing, it's literally like, I don't know, it's like James Bond not being British. It's like, that's a huge part of Batman's character.
Yeah,
is the fact
his nemesis is a man that he can't kill.
Yeah, that's like literally his character. And they're like, fuck it, make him break necks and shoot people.
And stab people in the chest.
In the throat, I thought. Yeah.
Batman didn't kill him, the knife did.
The wound.
Yeah,
the knife in the wound killed him, not Batman. Duh. I got a lot of other technical problems. As we already said, this is a mess. I didn't see, like, one establishing shot. It's just like, new scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are we? We're out in space. I get that.
It's too dark. I can't see what's going on. I see the whites of Ben Affleck's eyes and a really weird angle of his face, but I can't tell where we are.
And the biggest negative, and it's going to be a spoiler, and I'm not going to say it really, because it's kind of the big twist, but Batman, of course, is fighting Superman, as you can tell by the trailer, so they're going to team up at the end. And the reason they did is just dog shit. Yeah. It is just lazy writing, bullshit, dog shit. It made my ass bleed hearing it. and it fucking pissed me
that's
off.
That's something that ties into something I wanted to talk about.
The writing?
Well, yeah. Every decision that's made in this movie has to be spelled out for the audience. There were a lot of kids in the audience, and
which
I'm sure they appreciated
I don't think they
it,
really
but
should have been in the audience.
Of course not.
But not because of the violence, because it's too boring for them.
Yeah. But, I mean, they could follow it because every single thing was spelled out. Everything that Bruce Wayne was thinking, he said out loud.
Yeah.
Everything that Superman realized last minute, he'd say it out loud.
Honestly, like, almost every scene was like in Spaceballs, when they spell out, and then Dark Helmet goes, "Everybody got that?" I felt like that was like every scene.
And I mean, nothing needs to be spelled out, and we might disagree on the thing about the decision being dumb. That's part of the cartoon universe I'm talking about.
Yeah, but at the same time, they can't have
be
one foot into really gritty realism and then another foot into retardedly cartoony cartoon.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
definitely.
and that gets me. The tonal shifts are insane. Like, we're seeing destruction, and then he's like, "She's with you."
Yeah.
It's like, really? You're doing that? And that was a huge problem I had with Man of Steel, and it's the same problem I'm going on now. And it just, decide what movie you're making, and do it with less than $400 million.
Right. Big, expensive movie. Big, expensive soundtrack.
Oh, yeah,
And the soundtrack was really intrusive.
Yeah, no, that was going to be my problem. When you were talking good about the music, I was going to say,
it was
like...
good music.
No, it's good music.
Really badly implemented.
Really intrusive. There's a part where I don't remember what's going on, but I could tell you how it was going.
Right.
Like, the music was, because it was literally like... Yeah, it was
almost like they were sitting in the editing room and they were like, how much should we spend on the soundtrack again? Put track 11 right here and crank it up to 11.
Yeah, pretty much.
They won't be able to tell it's there, but at least we're using it.
No, there was a lot of the scenes, the soundtrack kind of goes into the back. The other scenes, they're borrowing the stereo from fucking Spinal Tap and turn it up more.
Right.
This one goes to 11. And yeah, and also the way, actually, the other conversation that happened in the editing room was like, I'm bored during this action scene. Fuck it, turn up the stereo. Like, that's what I felt like. I'm like, the music's the only thing that's exciting right now.
Right.
And there's a giant action scene going on in front of me.
And there was a lot of times where you couldn't understand dialogue. And it was really, really hard to watch.
Not that you would have missed anything.
Right.
There's a lot of character decisions that make zero sense to me. There's a moment where they're going to need this weapon, and somebody just throws it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then later, they're like, I gotta go get this. And then it's a danger to, like, multiple characters to get it.
Yeah, let's take turns almost drowning.
And I was like, why though? Why did they have to take turns almost drowning? That didn't have to be there.
No.
And they didn't explain it at all. It was
they needed to justify it.
Yeah, justify it.
They explained plenty in this
movie. No, exposition pie, I'm full.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's definitely, and then okay, I understand that Marvel likes to set up their movies, and they've done they made it intrusive to their movies more recently, but remember the good back in Phase 1, when they didn't set up Avengers during Iron Man, but they did it during post-credits? I really wish DC got that memo, because they're like, fuck it, let's just do it right in the middle. Let's just set up all these movies here.
By the way, Batman has a file on all these mutants. Metahumans.
Yeah. Jesus. I'm not even kidding. There's a scene where somebody's clicking files on a computer and showing us trailers. Yeah. That's what the whole scene was. Like, you guys want to see what this movie's going to be like? Want to see this movie? No, I want to see the movie I'm at right now.
Would you give us money for this movie? Would you give us money for
that?
And
I'm not okay. I'm okay with them setting up characters that we're going to be seeing in later movies, but be part of the story. Don't just literally show us trailers. They were literally showing us trailers, and Black Widow working for Tony Stark. That's setting up Black Widow, and then it made sense for the story. This, they're literally like, okay, let's watch this.
Let's watch how their powers work and watch them doing something, like solving a crime.
Yeah.
Or participating in a revolution.
And I'm going to tell you, the funny thing about all this mess, I didn't go pee. I didn't fall asleep. I actually enjoyed watching this train wreck. And that's a positive I'm going to put up, is I actually enjoyed watching this unravel. And just kind of on me.
I've got a couple more negatives.
Go ahead.
Amy Adams. They did a nude scene with Amy Adams. And this isn't my biggest negative on her behalf, but it's...
No, I got plenty of
It probably bugged me the most just because it was so unprofessional. But they had a scene where she was naked...
In the bathtub.
In a bathtub. And at one point, she's pretty much, like, upper body out of the water, and she's wearing, like, full breast pasties.
Very obvious full breast pasties.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, oh, I want to see some tits. Yeah. It was like, what is that?
Yeah, why?
And why can't you
that?
commit to doing the scene? If you're going to do the scene, do the scene.
Yeah. And we don't need to see tits. This is a superhero movie. I see tits on my phone in the bathroom. I don't need... Who put porno in my superhero movie?
And why did she need to be in the bathtub in the first place?
Yeah, that scene didn't...
Commit to it or don't do it at all.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
That was another, like, callback to, like, kind of a Richard Donner Superman moment where they're, like, weird and cute hanging out in the bathtub. I would have got that back then, but it doesn't make sense. The rest of the tone of the movie.
No.
And also, Amy Adams, I like Amy Adams a lot.
Me too. No,
I really do.
I loved her in Enchanted.
Oh, I loved her in Enchanted. I loved her in The Fighter because it's nothing like the rest of them. Yes. Yeah, and I've always really, really enjoyed Amy Adams. I hated her in Man of Steel, and I hate her now. Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with her. It's the writing.
It's the writing and it's the chemistry. I'm sorry, but there's supposed to be an undeniable amount of chemistry between Lois Lane and Superman. That's like the only thing they got going for them.
Yeah.
And I don't see it at all. It looks like two actors just acting at each other.
Right.
Every one of their scenes, and it takes me away. And
I agree.
The one thing you got to get right about Lois Lane, they fucked up, and that's chemistry.
Yeah.
God,
I've got one more big negative, and I already mentioned it kind of as an aside, but the visuals, a lot of the visuals in this movie were just too dark. The blacks aren't rich enough to be doing what they were doing. A lot of things were just getting washed out in black. They had a couple of neat scenes where there was like white washout and black washout at the same time.
Yeah.
Which was cool. Like there was a scene where Batwing was standing in a door and the room inside was dark, but he was getting washed out by the sunlight, so I could see his like little lines and negative space on his face and jacket, which was really cool. But
not bad.
There's just way too much black in this movie, in the most literal sense possible. It's just too dark. Can't see what's going on. You can only see the whites of people's eyes, and
again, the establishing shot would have saved us. If we would have seen what's going on, then you can give us a dark scene. Right. I got nothing against dark scenes, but we actually should be like, hey, this is what the entire scene looks like. Whoop! Yeah. And instead of just like, whoop! And that's it. Yeah. And then I was going to say one more thing, and I lost it. Yeah. Lots of jumbled mess. This movie might have had a point. All right, are you done with your negatives?
I'm done.
Now, as a closing spot for me, I didn't mind the first act of this movie as much as I hated the second and third. I think the third act, was kind of a jumbled mess. I didn't mind the first act because the first act was mostly Batman-y stuff, and it kind of set up Batman really well.
I don't think we needed the origin story.
No, we totally did. We know how Batman was made.
Right.
And that's another thing, is if we
Don't they show that at least once in each of the Dark Knight films?
Every single all of the Batman films.
Really?
Even the George Clooney, we still get the bat flying at him as the parents are dead. Like, we know Thomas and Martha Wayne died. But what I was getting at is I didn't hate this movie as much as I could have. But
I agree.
And I'm not like, this isn't fan four stick where I'm like, okay, they can't keep making these movies that are really bad. I think that they should. I'm sorry, as much as I like Zack Snyder in 300 and Watchmen, I think they need to cut him the fuck out, come up with a whole other area, and then go on to Justice League and go on to these other movies and take away this lack of storytelling in 2.5 hour movies. That's it. That's my other biggest negative is Zack Snyder can't tell a story for the life of him.
I gave this movie 4 out of 10 mysterious bat triangles. Because on every fucking bat logo in this movie, there's a weird triangle in the middle of the design. No idea what it means, except for the time that Lex Luther mentions a triangle. That's all I got.
That's my biggest negative. I totally forgot. I think Jesse Eisenberg was the worst thing in this entire movie, and I think Lex Luthor was the worst villain I've ever seen. Including Dr. Doom. I'm giving it 3.5 jars of piss. Yeah, no, there's a whole
I
plot
forgot about
point
that.
over jars of piss.
Yeah.
Entire plot
Grace
point.
peach tea.
Oh God, that was garbage.
Yeah.
I hated fucking Lex Luther was so
I'm
bad.
sorry, I was so
We
busy
were-
laughing. What'd you give it?
3.5
3.5.
jars
Wow.
of piss.
I gave it a higher rating.
Yeah,
than you did.
no, I had 4, and then we started talking.
And you were like, we gotta see this movie, and I was like, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, he had a lot lower expectations than I
Yeah.
did.
I almost gave it an average score.
I did, halfway through the movie, I almost did. I was like 5, and then Jesse Eisenberg kept talking. You know, it's like 2, and then Batman came on screen, and I'm like 4, maybe. Like it's fucking fine. Okay, thank you for sitting through 25 minutes of us nerding out. I'm gonna put the link of our Fan 4-Stick review, because if you want to see how mad we get when somebody botches a superhero movie, there you go, because we were pissed on that. I got drunk that night. What do you want to throw into the description?
I haven't recommended our Ant-Man video yet. You probably have, but I'm gonna recommend our Ant-Man video.
I don't know if I have. That's a good superhero movie or better superhero movie that we
Much
reviewed.
better than expected.
Much better.
For sure.
Yeah, much better than expected. Okay, thank you guys. We'll be throwing out more reviews at you, and enjoy your life together.
Easter.
Happy Easter! That's
It's
something
Good
that we could say.
Friday.
Is it Good Friday?
It's Good Friday.
Something to do
it's
with...
okay Friday.
Well, it was Good Friday until I went to the movies. All right, bye!